Very, very young. In diapers, probably.
It is the signature event of this area. What does it mean economically for the region?
Well, it has a huge impact in terms of people coming in, staying in hotels, and coming in and shopping through this. But really, also, I think what's interesting about the fair is it obviously started in the 19th century, and the fair itself is modernized. So while it's 10 days at the end of the summer, these fairgrounds are used year-round for economic development and projects and different things that come through here. So this property and this land is vibrant year-round.
You know, I think a lot of people think of a fair in general as sort of like an agrarian experience, but it actually is a pretty modern event. I mean, all you have to do is go into the Time Warner, not to plug our local situation, but the Time Warner exposition here, and you have a lot of really modern stuff. I mean, and it's also not only about eating, although that's what people focus on
Sure.
the most.
Well, I think it gives both. It is clearly has agrarian roots, and it still is a large part of this. But as the government and politics and the mind frame of people start to think about sustainability, this is really a great place to bring your kids to teach them about where our food comes from,
Right.
how we have farm animals, how we treat them, and at the same time looking at how we are treating things in the future and how we're moving forward with energy and cars and you name it, you can find it here.
You know, you mentioned the politics of this place. Obviously, the governor is coming here today. It's a tradition, opening day. You're going to be with him.
I am.
He has a fundraiser this evening that you're also going to be at.
I will be.
How did this event become so political?
I think it's wherever there are people, you will find politicians, and you get a huge collection of New Yorkers here, and you can do with it what you want. You can make it more political. Some politicians have come in and sponsored luncheons and had speeches, and others, like the current Governor Cuomo and the first Governor Cuomo, who I worked for and staffed at this event, used it as a way to sort of get amongst people and talk to them about what they wanted to talk about.
You know, the Syracuse Post-Standard had this amazing piece today about Mario Cuomo and how much he loved this event, which I found really not only poignant, but also amazing. The man was from Queens, and he was an unabashed New Yorker, New York Cityer, if you will, a New York City resident. You staffed him here. What was that like?
Oh, it was fantastic. It is. I think what made it so interesting is that the contrast, to have somebody who was proud of growing up in Jamaica and Hollis, Queens, to come up here and meet with upstate New Yorkers, and he enjoyed it. I think enough time has gone by that people forget. Mario Cuomo really enjoyed talking with people and finding out what their lives were like, what they were concerned about, what they were thinking about in their children. If you remember, he called it the family of New York. And this was a great place with no agenda to come and talk to people about what they wanted to talk about.
That piece in this Post-Standard said that the bar is set high for Andrew Cuomo. Do you agree with that?
I think Andrew sets his own mark, and he's been meeting it time and time again. He's not his father, but he will do fine. Although he wasn't governor last year, I was with him. He did fine last year. And all good politicians find their own strengths and their own weaknesses and work off of them. And Andrew's had a terrific year. He's going to enjoy this, and probably in a different way from his father. But nevertheless, it's a great event for us in Syracuse. It's part of our history. It's part of our culture. Summer here is so fleeting.
Yeah.
It's a way for all of us to get together, enjoy the last of summer, prepare for what is Labor Day and school and fall and winter, and to celebrate.
You know, there's a policy of the governor's is the property tax cap. We have just come to know from the comptroller that there's going to be a considerable increase in pension fund contributions. Do you believe that the city of Syracuse will have to blow that property tax cap because of the pension fund increases, which are not exempt to a certain degree?
Well, as I said before during the property tax cap debate, you can't do a property tax cap without doing mandate relief.
Right.
And we've seen from the comptroller's ruling that the factors that are driving property tax increases, like pension costs, are still there. These are devastating choices, and I am very hopeful, given what the governor has said and what the state legislative leaders have said, that when they come back to session, they're going to address mandate relief. But if they fail to, or if it's not meaningful mandate relief, you're going to see city and towns and villages decimate services, decimate their workforce, because we simply can't afford to raise property taxes anymore. And at the same time, we can't just lay off half of our firefighters or half of our police like they've done in Newark and other cities, or close pools. And yet, because Albany has not yet effectively dealt with this issue, those are the kind of decisions that mayors across New York State are thinking about and realizing that they might have to make.
This didn't come as a surprise to you. I mean,
No.
you knew that this was coming down the pike, right?
And viewers of your show have seen me on here a number of times talking about this issue. But the way democracy works, or at least the way it works here in New York State, is frequently you don't get attention until it becomes a crisis. It's a crisis right now, and as I've said, I've seen communications, I've talked to the governor about it. I know that my county executive who's coming on after me has also talked to the governor about it, and he and his administration have said they're dedicated to helping us solve this problem, and I believe them.
Going to use this opportunity of seeing him in person today and this evening in Skinny Atlas to really press that point?
Every time I see him, I use it to press the agenda.
Between that sausage sandwich, Governor, how about pension relief? Just say it. His mouth will be full. It'll be like the perfect time for you to do that. Before I let you go, I just also want to ask you about hydrofracking. It's been a big issue. You guys sort of dodged a bullet on that one, it seems like.
Well, we very deliberately. When I came into office, I realized the issue that hydrofracking and the impact would have. We have one of two filtration avoidance waivers. New York City has the other. We get our water from Skinny Atlas Lake. Along with the Bloomberg administration that was very helpful to the city of Syracuse, we were able to get put out of hydrofracking because it impacts our water.
The other people have said if it's good enough for Syracuse and New York City, why is it not good enough for us and our wells and our water?
And look, I think that that's a fair argument, but for right now, I have enough responsibility for the 150,000 people who live in the city of Syracuse, and protecting their water was one of our priorities. And the hydrofracking, we escaped that by saying we can't put at risk clean water on the chance that there may be some energy from that shale.
Yeah, well, Mayor, I would want to let you go so you can enjoy the fair. I want to thank you very much for hosting us. It's really lovely here, and we hopefully will get out there too.
Well, since you arrived, Liz, Irene looks like it passed over and the sun is out. So
we have a lot of power here.
that's right.